So I guess I should start with where I originally wanted this video to be about. I'm showing the image on screen of what was almost an hour of me talking about a lot. To sum up what ended up happening, I am going to attempt to rewrite the sequel trilogy, or at least specific instances of it. This excludes giving the Resistance, as much as I really wanted to, the most powerful ship that the New Republic has in at least a lore setting, the Viscount. Otherwise, well, hello. Dear viewer, you are going to embark on what is possibly a decent idea. Let's resume with the Resistance fleet. So, everything that happens in the storyline I am making is as follows. The Battle of Crate doesn't happen. I don't mean that as it's gone from the script. I mean the First Order is smarter. The logic behind this is as follows. In the movie, it is literally stated that they have no shields and no hyperdrives, the shuttles that they use to escape to get to Crate. Their only hope is the planet, which is a fortress. I looked at that wall, and the quote-unquote battering ram cannon the First Order has is meant to crack mountains. And the wall itself is barely big enough to fit a, couple stormtroopers. So, yeah, this thing's durable. The First Order, as such, realizes one thing. This is an abandoned base. There is no way that there is anything working here to be able to escape. As such, the Resistance is going to their tomb. Let's put it this way. These shuttles with no shields and no hyperdrives are going to a planet with nothing. The movie ends, instead of it being a big climactic battle, with them evidently realizing that they have all they need to rebuild a rebellion, to rebuild a resistance. And it's this big moment where Leia, Finn, and Poe are all kind of like, this is it. Like, we don't have much. The shuttles that get destroyed. Holdo sacrifices herself as per the movie. Not much changes there, but what does change is Rey and the Falcon arrive. We're trapped. The First Order is above us, but we have the Falcon. The Falcon has a hyperdrive. It can be used to get resources and supplies, and they have Resistance members, so they might be able to get more ships. I mean, seeing as in The Rise of Skywalker, they somehow got a CR-90. Don't ask me how, because these things are supposed to be wickedly outdated. But my point stands that they somehow got a Corvette in what is arguably an even worse position than the one I'm giving them. There's a reason I'm giving them this, and a reason why I think I'm going to go into a bit more detail as to what is like the Resistance's next move, per se. Why am I giving them Crate? Crate is an abandoned rebel mining facility. Not an outpost, but a facility. So in the movie, we get to see a little bit in the background, and I have paused and looked at each frame and also just watched that whole scene because I was needing to, and realized that the base is very much able to be used as a forward outpost. One of the biggest things is the trench system that it is defending. There is a massive amount of networks that these trenches have, and they extend wickedly far. This trench system can also work as a landing field for a lot of big craft. Now, I did say how the First Order was parking First Order destroyers above orbit. While we don't know a lot about Crate as a planet and why this base was here, seeing as it's a mining outpost, I would assume, based off of the crystals here, that it was mainly used as a last-ditch effort and was a pre-construction for a full-on base. The rebels wouldn't slap on a wall and a base this big if it wasn't for some further purpose. As well as, let's take a look at those turrets. Those turrets are really makeshift. Let me explain to you what I'm talking about. So in Rogue One, the Star Wars story that everyone's probably heard of, there are these ships called the Hammerhead Corvettes. They're a Corellian class, pretty durable, right? Well, if you take a look at the head of the ship and take a look at the turrets that are used, you see a very striking similarity, and that is because the Rebel Alliance literally took the head of the Corvettes and just shoved it in the ground and used it as a turret. These things can only face forward, do not have any turning at all, but are basically super heavy artillery cannons. If this is what is facing off against any form of a ground assault, you're going to get hit, and you're going to get hit hard when these things hit you. But once again, they don't turn, so they're not that accurate. But they can be used as artillery. And the base itself doesn't have just like one of these or two of these. No, I think it had like 5 or something. Like, it had a lot of them. But my point here is it has defenses, the trench network and space, which is also from the trench network and the base itself, which expanded well into the mountains. And the base itself can be easily expanded upon. The Resistance has everything in here to make a base. Will it be a good base? Most likely not. That's pretty good, especially for a faction like the Resistance, which is facing off against the First Order, much more advanced than they could ever dream of being. So to basically tie it all together, my changes here are Crate becomes the Resistance's new base. The First Order lets the Resistance build up. The Resistance and the First Order have this mutual agreement, and Kylo Ren is also left to be more tactical and be more collective and thoughtful with the First Order. The next episode in this is going to go over my exact thoughts on what he would do, and also just in general, a bigger picture on the difference between Kylo Ren and most other characters he's compared to. Palpatine, for some reason, is one of them, and no, but yes. The other thing that I'm going to mention just briefly is, anyway, that concludes today's video. Now to edit, I just took a look at how much this is. Yeah.